not you. Please just let me alone and let me cry about this. Quit your whining. It ain't the end of the world. That's an easy fix. Yeah, right. Look at this thing. It's been freaking violated. I bet you $10 you can't fix this thing. All right, get ready to lose. Hey, what's going on, YouTubulous? Hope you enjoyed that funny little intro we did. Just having some fun here before we start a new project. We've got something on the menu. You know what it is. We have a hole in our subwoofer. Oh my gosh. Not only is it a pain to look at, but it's a pain to listen to too, because you can hear this thing flapping up and down. So we're gonna try to fix it the best way we can. Now there's a couple different ways you can do this. We're gonna show you the cheapest way and the easiest way that you can do at home. That's why you see two different types of foam here. But basically, I just wanted to get this on film because, oh my God, how many times have you been putting in a subwoofer? Well, maybe none, but you go to put it in and you puncture through the damn surround with your screwdriver or your drill, just because maybe you in a hurry, or who knows, you know, it happens to the best of us. So hopefully this video will be able to help you solve that problem, you know, and get you back to banging without sounding like a freaking noob, you know what I'm saying? So let's get this show on the road, but before we get to fixing it, let's see how it sounds beforehand and see what happens when you put power to a subwoofer with a giant hole in it. Oh boy, this should be interesting. Here we are inside, about to fire up this woofer to see how this little flappy dappy behaves when we put a little bit of signal to her. I'm sure we'll be able to hear it flapping in the wind, that's for damn sure. So let's try 30 hertz. Oh yeah, look at it, it's already lifted up. See it lifting right up there? You can hear it flapping. That's not good. Let's give it one more little volume click here. Look at that, you can see right through the subwoofer. You can see my finger on the other side. Uh-oh, that ain't good. So, we gotta fix that. We have gotta fix it. So as you can see, this thing could use just a little bit of attention. We need to take care of it, so first things first, we're gonna introduce you guys to this cheap little foam. Now don't let the price get you down, because it's actually fairly strong and it's pretty thick, well, considering how cheap it is. You know, it's about half the thickness of this surround on the subwoofer already. So since we don't have any parts missing, if you know what I mean, a lot of the surround is just punctured through and it's not missing, we're gonna put this on the back side of it as a little bit of a patch. We're gonna use our E6000 to glue it down. This stuff has a little bit of elasticity once it dries, and it contracts a little bit too. So it'll have a little bit of give once it starts moving. It'll have the ability to stretch up and down. Now let's go ahead and pick our color. I think I'm gonna use green because it'll show up best on video. Now before you get a little bit too skeptical here, we've already tested to see if this glue will bond to this foam, and it does. It bonds very, very well. So hopefully this will be a nice little alternative instead of using some subwoofer surround. Now ordinarily you could use some scissors and just cut a little piece of this surround right off and use it as a patch with some E6000 like we're using here, or even some silicone. There's really, really loud people who do that to their subwoofers who are still hitting over 160 decibels and aren't losing pressure through the surround hole. So either way, if you have this laying around, which is probably a lot less common, you know, you can use this foam. It's not just as good, but it has the similar qualities, and we're just gonna use it as a patch. Now to be able to get our hands in there just a little bit easier, we're gonna flip the woofer upside down and work from the top of it. And actually that little bit of pressure will help press fit it in with the adhesive. Once we put the patch down there, we can push it down with our fingers and it's almost flush. Now we'll just measure it real quick, even though we probably could just eyeball it. We're gonna do probably an inch and a half, about an inch and a half patch. And we'll see how long we need to make it because it has a curved surface. I want that to be exactly right. All right, so we got our little patch cut out from our really cheap Walmart foam, And now we're gonna go ahead and do some tiny bit of gluing on the seams before we put the patch down. That way when we go on the other side, we can just, you know, put a little bit in between the cracks so it seals up on both sides. So right now I'm gonna use my spare. It's still E6000. I'm just not gonna open my Freshie. And I'm gonna squirt her down, make sure she squirts in between the cracks so we can get her filled up real tight. All right, so I've squeezed it in. Now I'm just gonna rub it in between the crack. So when we put the pressure back down on the other side to make it fit flush, it'll kind of just sit right in between the seam and hopefully not go through too much on the other side. So now I'm gonna use our patch, get this all applied. I'm gonna really give her a generous amount in the center and then just rub it out like this, so it's nice and evenly applied. Now I'm gonna put a little bit down on the piece of surround as well, just not too much because I don't want to add a big chunk of weight, you know what I mean? Just enough to do both surfaces. All right, I'm gonna stick it on, here we go. Here goes the patch. Make sure you position her in the right spot and go as far down as we possibly can so it matches up with the edge here. Something like that. Now I may use a little something like a socket so I can fit something in between here to press fit it over time, because it's gonna wanna bow out a little bit, you can tell. Maybe something like this. Put this down in there so it presses it and keeps it from coming up. Now I'm gonna let this sit for just a little while and we'll come back and then see how it did. All right, coming at you about an hour later. Let's pick up this little weight that we had down there, and everything seems to be affixed fairly strongly. She's not coming off there, that's for sure. But I had just a quick little thought. I'm gonna do another patch on the opposite side, just to make it a little bit stronger, because actually, if you pay close attention, if you double up on this material, it is just about as thick as the surround originally. So I think 2 of these will be just fine. Well, there she is, guys. Both pieces firmly attached to our surround. Our top piece of foam is just slightly bigger than our piece beneath it. You can see a little bit of the glue oozing out on the sides there, but it's function over form, guys. I mean, hell, anything's better than a giant hole in our subwoofer, so I'd say this doesn't look half bad. Let's take a look at the underside of it as we get a little bit closer to a full cure. We're gonna give this thing every bit of time that it needs. A full, I don't know, 48 hours before we get jamming on it. But we wanna see the results. We wanna see how this thing turned out, if everything worked. So let's get this thing moving, get some music thrown into it, get some power thrown into it with our AmpLab Mega Lithium battery in our little test station, and let's see how this thing worked. Yay. The moment we've all been waiting for. Time to see how this little haggard patch did the trick here. We've given it plenty enough time to cure up for our adhesive, so now let's give it the same frequency we started out at last time on our PA tone application, little Android bass tester. Let's give it just about 3/4 volume and see how she likes it. There she's going now. Give it one more notch. Woo. Let's give it one more down here in the bottom, see how that's looking. Oh, she's fucking moving all right. Looks good to me. Check that out, guys. Can't ask for much better than that. Let's check the underside of it, make sure that's going good. Oh yeah, our little EXO. We got that little EXO thing in there just to see how much she's moving. Let's give it one more click. Check that out. I'd say that is a job well done. Seeming as though this was just laying around my house from years back, I got this foam for something I was gonna do a stencil. I was gonna do some spray painting, but it ended up being a cool little subwoofer trick. Check it out. Let's look at it real closely on the seam here, and let's turn it up while we watch it. Look at that. The radius gets bigger and bigger as you turn it up. Woo! Whoops, bottomed out a little bit. Sorry guys, I gave it one too many notches. Remember, we were testing a 21-inch subwoofer over here. Now we're testing a 12-inch, so a little bit different on power. So let's get some super slow motion and do some before and after shots, because remember when we got this angle, it was going all nuts. So let's get that shot, let's get this shot, and some more slow-mo for all the bass heads. Oh shit, guys, I have to say, I am beyond impressed. Of course, good old E6000 has the hands down some of the best glue for subwoofer surrounds out there, but I have to say, the foam, I like this. Instead of just using glue and having that shiny little friggin' all nasty looking gluey subwoofer surround, a nice little patch of little patch of some foam, I don't know, like a little subwoofer band-aid, if you will. And I kinda like the green, because it moves so much when you look at it. So, I don't know, just something kind of haggard, something kind of fun. So if you find yourself with a hole in your subwoofer and you got a Walmart nearby, maybe you can pick up some of this foam, or use an inner tube. I got some comments about that on Facebook, or some other stuff, rubber cement, anything. Try to do, something to fix your stuff. It's always better than buying new stuff. So until the next video, this is EXO, trying to save you a buck or two. Thanks for watching the video, clicking the thumbs up. Today is my fucking birthday. I'm 28 years old. Oh my god, I feel like I'm having like a midlife crisis here. Maybe not midlife, but something, I don't know. But anyways, thanks for wishing me happy birthday on my Facebook. Thanks for checking out our featured web store over at Drop 1 Hertz Car Audio. Until the next one, this is EXO, signing out with my spiffy new Band-Aid subwoofer.